Well, it's time to get an update on the business news, and I'm joined by Yuka Roya here in the studio. Hi there, Yuka.
Hello, Julia.
Now, we're going to take a quick look at the French overseas territory of Guadeloupe, one of the two areas that have been placed on maximum alert over coronavirus.
Oh, that's right. Along with Marseille, Guadeloupe will have to shut down its bars and restaurants starting this weekend. The new restrictions deal a particularly hard blow to the island that has already seen tourist numbers dwindle this year. Local businesses are worried that the measures could worsen the already bad unemployment situation there. Camille Nederlek has reports.
One last cocktail in the sunshine before this bar closes on Sunday. The latest round of coronavirus measures to batter the hospitality industry. The owner is worried.
Je viens de faire 3 embauches, je fais quoi? J'étais repartie, on était repartis.
The island can ill afford layoffs as it already suffered from chronic unemployment of around 30% before the pandemic. Tourism is a key economic driver and tourist numbers have dwindled.
Many companies who is very in situation, in a bad situation, and with this new announcement of the Prime Minister, a lot of the company probably will die.
Some tourists are undeterred.
Oh, ça change l'organisation, mais on s'adaptera quand même.
Comment est-ce qu'il y a quelque chose qui peut être gâché ici? Franchement.
Là, je suis dans un hôtel où il y a quand même une kitchenette et tout ça. Et les hôtels qui n'ont pas de kitchenette, comment ils vont faire?
This hotel has planned to serve meals directly to people's rooms.
Ben voilà, une nouvelle annulation qui nous arrive.
But the cancellations are gathering pace.
On pensait s'en sortir, on poussait respirer, avoir un bol d'air et repartir dans un nouvel élan qui est à nouveau cassé.
Local authorities say the closure of bars and restaurants is a disproportionate response, and a curfew would have hurt the tourism sector far less.
Well, let's take a look at the markets now on the last day of a rather choppy week.
Yeah, that's right. There's been some ups and downs, but European stocks got off on a mixed note this Friday. London and Germany opening in the green, as you can see, and Paris down at the start of trading. The banking and energy sector seeing a recovery, while healthcare and retail stocks are falling. Earlier, it was also a mixed picture in Asia. Tokyo's Nikkei and South Korea's Kospi rose, led by tech shares, and on mild hopes that the US Congress will break their deadlock over a fresh stimulus package.
Now, German car maker BMW has been fined in the United States for inflating its sales figures. Tell us more.
Well, BMW will pay $18 million in fine to settle allegations that it misled investors by making its monthly sales volumes larger than they actually were for 5 straight years. The US Securities and Exchange Commission says the luxury car maker released their sales targets rather than actual volumes, while raising about $18 billion through selling corporate bonds. BMW says that the inflated figures were the result of negligence and not intentional misconduct.
Now, in these tough times, of course, the controversial idea, Yuka, of a universal basic income is actually making a comeback.
That's right. That concept of doling out cash to large numbers of people had been regarded as far-fetched and unrealistic. But momentum for basic income programs is building up amid economic hardships caused by the pandemic. In July, the United Nations recommended the idea to reduce inequality in a post-COVID world. Our correspondents in Germany take a look at an experimental program taking place in the country.
When he was offered a solidarity-based basic income in exchange for community work, Ingo didn't hesitate for a second. He used to live in the street. Now he helps his old friends improve their lives. He lends a hand at this food distribution center.
Du hast am Monatsende plötzlich noch Geld auf dem Konto. Man findet so eine gewisse innere Ruhe wieder auch. Das Schöne im Leben mitnehmen zu können, wie jetzt zum Beispiel mal ins Kino zu gehen, wieder vernünftig zu essen.
Like Ingo, 500 unemployed people are now testing the solidarity-based basic income in Berlin for a period of 5 years. The city finances jobs of general interest to help people out of poverty. The timing is perfect, according to the head of the association that hired Ingo.
Wir haben eine hohe Arbeitslosigkeit zu erwarten bei den wirtschaftlichen Schwierigkeiten, die wir aufgrund der Krise haben werden. Für diese Menschen ist es ein sicherer Hafen.
Because of the pandemic, the concept is part of public debate now. There are more and more experiments in Germany. Starting in 2021, 120 German citizens will get a minimum income, 1,200 euros a month for 3 years, and without conditions this time. More than 1.5 million Germans applied, a high level of interest driven by the downturn that came with the pandemic.
Die zeigen, dass auch unser enges Netz der sozialen Sicherung durchaus Löcher hat und sozusagen es Ideen braucht, auch die Ängste von Menschen abzufedern.
From utopia to reality, it's an idea on the march. As the pandemic spread, so too has the idea of a universal basic income, with testing underway now in places such as Canada and Spain.
And finally, from you, Yuka, electric cars have been in the spotlight lately, and now a charging network in the United States is going public.
Well, that company is called ChargePoint, and it has announced a plan to list itself on the New York Stock Exchange. It's one of the world's oldest and largest EV charging networks and will merge with Switchback Energy, a publicly listed special purpose acquisition company. The deal puts the joint company's value at $2.4 billion. ChargePoint says that the potential is huge for charging stations as the race heats up among automakers to make greener cars.
Given that the EVs have only penetrated into less than 1% of the installed base of vehicles in both the U.S. and North America, the amount of growth in front of the company is enormous. It's an incredibly large total addressable market for us. It's every parking lot.
So clearly the future is there in plugged-in cars.
All right, greener cars, the way of the future. Thank you very much, Rico Roy, there with the business here on France 24.